Welcome back, Shark Nation. It's time to suck it up, Buttercup. We're going to talk about the doing the hard things today, the things you don't want to do, pushing through, and where we've had to do that in our careers. So, Jason, my man, how's it going?
Doing awesome, man. Have some pretty exciting news this week. Got a big boy deal offer accepted, so pretty pumped up about that. I don't want to announce it yet. Don't want to jinx it, but it's big dog.
Yes, sir. Congrats. That's so well deserved for you, my man.
Yeah,
Um,
yeah, super pumped. I was gonna say
yeah,
this episode is brought to you by Hurricane Milton.
that
We
fucker.
interrupt your regularly scheduled programming for uh, a couple day tape delay, right? We're on rehearsal. You had to make the voyage. You live in Tampa, right in the heart of the storm. Thinking about doing the hard things at the hard times, right? You had to make a hard decision the other day. Like, you got to let me know. Will you stay or will you go?
Yeah, we made, I think we where we're at in our house, they would have, we would have been fine, but I think we just didn't want to go through it, have the girls go through it. We haven't been up to see family and friends in a while up in Pennsylvania, so we left on Monday. Hurricane came yesterday, Wednesday, so yeah, we made the 17-hour, 16-hour drive time, but with sleep and stops, it was basically 24-hour trek up to Pennsylvania. Which pushed our show because we did that on Monday when we normally record. That was about when we decided let's roll.
Yeah.
so definitely some curveballs, and it's a good time. I mean, this was the theme of the show prior to them even saying there was a hurricane. So this was really good timing because I mean, take note. Anyone watching or listening on replay or anything like that is there's no one out there that was upset that we didn't do it on Monday, and could have maybe skipped a week, and we could have come back and just done it next week. But when you make commitments, I think there's a feedback loop that happens, and no one's perfect. My gosh, I definitely do not do all of the commitments 100%. No one is 100%, but I think when you more often than not do the things you say you're going to do and stay committed to the process, to the thing, regardless of the outcome, I mean, I've been listening to Sunit, Agarwal on Reside a lot, and I forget who it is, but says something about there's something in your brain that strengthens every time you do something you don't want to do, but you do it anyway. Forget the technical term for that and who came up with it and whatever, but I definitely see that because as you do hard shit, it gets easier to do more hard shit.
Yeah, no, for sure. And like you said, for us, it's a commitment. We said we were going to do the podcast once a week, no matter what, for as long as it takes, for whatever that means. And we're committed to it. So we want to hold to ourselves more than anybody else of, promise what you preach, right? And do what you say you're going to do when you say you're going to do it. So yeah, it is super important. I know to both of us that we still commit and we get it in this week, and we have something tangible to talk about. Just like you were saying, like how your brain has that feedback, right? It reminds me of the story like Rick on my team doesn't want to make calls, right? But he's physically fit, like hits a gym every single day, right? So I
Hmm.
said, why don't you have that same level of commitment to your business as you do the gym? Right. And he's like, okay, so we finally started getting, 1 month, 10 calls, next month, 100 calls, next month, 300 calls, this past month, 500 calls, man, crushing it. And he told me, he's like, dude, now I feel bad when I miss my call days because it became habit. And, just having that commitment and seeing where his business has grown since he's implemented it. And then, like I said, you got a long way to go. I said, now do it again and do it again and do it again. But he's on track.
Right. And, so I think I've been talking a lot about this over the last week or two, and I just actually chatted with an agent yesterday about this, but we spend 90% of our time talking about the strategy or the tactic when really that's 10% of the equation. 90% of it is mindset and that battle. Like, I love lately the competition. The only competition you actually have is the mirror. And
Yeah.
I have loved just thinking that lately, telling others that lately, and just getting that, seeing the wheels click for them. Because you asked, I'd spoken with an agent last week about this, and they said, because they had literally spoken about another real estate agent or team or whatever, and I said, okay, you're talking about that, and I understand the thing and the competitiveness there, and I'm competitive too. We all want to win, but I said, but if you think about it, what's harder, competing with that competitor or your own commitment over the last 30 days?
Yeah. You know what's
365.
so nice about that? Like I said, the leaderboard is friendly competition, right? We
Right.
implement it on our team too. And it's like, when I send that out, it sparks a little fire under everybody, like, oh shit, but it's a good progress measuring stick, right? Where am I this month compared to last month? So you can see where
Well,
you are and where you want to go.
you have to, you do have to be, and that comes with emotional intelligence and stuff like that, but you do have to be emotionally sound to be able to look, and I struggled with this a lot, but it's starting to really click for me recently in the last few months, is to look at where you're at without judgment, and like just as data. Like that's what clicked for me, when it was like, just look at it as data. It's just data to observe and see what to do differently in the future. It's the contrast of what to do different. If it's not where you want to be, if it's where you want to be, then it's data to say you're on the right track, keep going, right? But we get so caught up. I had a conversation, and it was just so much about the CRM and the things and what this and then, well, this marketing niche, and some of that stuff is really can be useful, but at the end of the day, it's useless without waking up in the morning and doing the work that you're avoiding.
Yeah, now for sure. Like you said, setting up a plan, setting up your day for success. I always say, when you have those little butterflies in your belly, or you feel like the procrastination coming in, like, I don't feel like doing it, that should be exactly what you're doing. Like that should be your sign that that's the time right now to get after that thing.
Right. And well, the other thing about, when you are consistently doing the uncomfortable stuff you don't want to do,
Mm.
the work, when we're talking about this, we're talking about the work. So in real estate, right, this is the calls, the open houses, the social media posts, the Facebook lives, the damn podcast, the stuff, the stuff that can result in more conversations about the thing you do. And it's universal across every job. Well, like, and then I want to change it. Like, because I want to give one more scope on it too. Is like, even Brittany's running this Etsy store right now, and I told her, it's the same conversation. I want to do this parallel. Actually, I want to take a little detour into this, because this is really good. Her and some others were racking their brains for this perfect idea for a shirt that will take off on the store, and I told them, like, listen, that's the 10%. You're never, like, everything you think is going to work. Once you put it out in the world, it's probably going to prove you wrong. At least in my experience, every ad that I think is going to kill, like, it sucks. And the ones that I don't, where you don't know. But what you can control is the input. You can just have a ton of input and increase your surface area of luck. So I said, but when you're focusing on the perfect shirt idea, that's the 10%. That's the magic pill, the strategy, or the tactic. Focus on the mindset of just doing the work consistently, and making a ton of content. And it was really funny, and I think I talked about this before on the show, but she had 80 or 100 items in her Etsy store. Now she has about 250 or so. It's about 3x. Her income has 3x. I find that really interesting.
Yeah. It's amazing how that happens, right?
It's like, but so the thing is, though, is, there's some days where she doesn't want to create. You have the writer's block, and it's like, just put something out there each and every day, even if it sucks. Like, because now for me, like, I've shown up on some days recently I just haven't wanted to, in both my health and fitness and in real estate. And I can tell you, it's a lot easier to eat the food that I loved up here in Pennsylvania whenever I've been so consistent doing the right diet. It's a
Gotta
lot
throw some
easier.
French fries on something now that you're up there.
Oh, I did today. My daughter looked at me like, what the hell are you doing putting French fries on that? But I'm like, listen, it's Pittsburgh, buddy. but the other thing is, there's a lot of business that's been falling out of the cracks over the last week for me, even during this hurricane. A lot of things that, you wake up in the morning and you feel like, oh my God, where am I going to find the next, dollar, for whenever you're an entrepreneur, or where am I going to find the next win, when you're just a human being. And if you've been doing the work and stacking the work, all of a sudden it shows up for you from the work you did 2 months, 3 months, 4 months ago when it was half-assed and shitty, but you did it while somebody else thought about it.
Yeah, no, for sure. And, I've been noticing it too. And like you said, anytime you're kind of, doing more content and getting more stuff out there, you write this like awesome thing and you think it's going to be this huge success. And then there's like nothing. And then you're like, write something trivial. And then you're like, this is like the most engagement that I've ever got in my life. It's like one thing that you could do is just like you said, showing up when you don't feel like it, just getting something out there. Or what I like to be doing lately is a little tweak on something that you might have done. And this would help Britt too, because like you said, maybe she has designs that she did for a previous thing that was good. Maybe do a little tweak on that instead of having to recreate like the Michelangelo every single time. So even with us, like, okay, we have the messages that we have the markets that we want, just tweak the message in a different way. Same thing, just said differently.
Well, and what do you think the time frame is for somebody to remember a post or copy or an email?
That's what I'm obnoxious on social media lately, and I don't care, right? I'm getting all my stuff out there, and I'm fine with that. And some agents are like, oh, I don't want, what are people going to think if I keep posting? I go, for one, is their opinion more important than your family, right? Because you're choosing other people's opinions over your own family if you do that.
Well, and stay there for one sec, because everybody loves to say like, well, I don't care what people think about me. Those same people that say, but then they do with the posting. I mean, it's a complete paradox that like to truly not give a shit. Like, let's see it. Like, I challenge that.
I truly don't care what people say. What I don't want is I don't want any kind of political discussions or whatever to outbreak in the content. I don't want my messaging to be my stuff. I want to be about hope, inspiration, positivity, helping people out however I can. I don't want it to be a bashing board or anything negative for, the haters out there. If I see people that are going to be posting stuff like that, I just delete it. And it's like, oh, well, you deleted that when dude, I don't give a shit what you said about it. It's that I don't want you using my medium for your agenda. You know what I mean? So I'll delete it from there. You take your business to a different post or whatever, because you'll have the internet trolls crawling up through the cracks and fucking, wanting to get after everything. But hey, look at when you put yourself out there, you're gonna have some haters, right?
Yep.
We all do. We are gonna have that, which is fine. It just comes with the territory.
Yep, it is, and
well, real quick, just to finish up, my thought on that too. So, caring what people think. And then the second thing is like, think about it as, a blip in your day. As things are going through social media's post, your stuff might not show when people are there to look for it. So you should be posting, even if it's the same thing, more than once, because they might not have saw it at that point in time.
That was it. Somebody had said it somewhere once, and it always stuck with me, was when you start annoying yourself, people start seeing you. Like they just start seeing you when you're annoyed. Like that's it's like you said, where you're in a sea of so much shit. There's so much stuff out there. You might analyze every little thing of, where the way you looked in that hair in your photo or whatever, or the way you wrote that thing. But, for a lot of people, they just skim through it as they doom scroll through their phone, so.
Angry toilet tweet in your ass.
But it is another good thing to internalize, like, like kind of like the why or the family or the thing, that you're doing the thing for, especially with like calling, because I know calling can be tough, and people can say things like, leave me alone. Like they're quick to attack your, they're so quick to say like, F off, I can't believe you call me, like it always cracks me up, because we work a lot of internet leads. It's like, y'all filled out a form. You put your name, phone number, and email. I would never be surprised or mad, but it's still this is not gonna change that. But I would never be surprised or mad if somebody called me. I filled out the form. I'm the one like, I'm well aware. I put my info in, even if it was auto-filled, right?
I just did that for my son. He's at Temple now. So, he doesn't need a car because he's in a big city and he can take public transportation. So he doesn't need a car, and it's just sitting in front of my house. So I'm like, I'll just sell it because I don't want it just sitting here, for a couple of years or whatever, until he comes back. So I put my info in, and then I had car people call me about, possibly trying to buy the car or whatever. And I'm just like, well, duh. I just filled out the filled out the form, so I was actually just on the other end of it. But I was nice to them. I said, hey, I just want to kind of get a value and see where it is, but I'll probably sell it privately, which I still have. I just haven't had time to post it yet.
Right. So, all right. So, but to be now I want to break into our opposite side of it. We're so good. We do all the hard stuff. You know, what if you had this? Let me say, how often do you think you have the man? I really don't want to do this today feeling.
Every fucking day, every single day. I am like I'm like the worst boss ever. I actually called my old boss from my old W-2 job, and I was like, dude, you were such a better boss to me than I am to myself. He starts dying. I'm like, yeah, I just like right at the back, like get it done, and it's just natural for me. I'm like, dude, man, give yourself some mercy, give yourself a day off, and I'm just like, no, I got shit to do. I got a big why. I got a mission to hit.
I like it. So what gets you through the feeling of, man, I don't want to do this thing? Obviously, you take action real quickly. That's good, but like, is that so? What's your solution when you're feeling that creep of like, I don't want to go do this right now?
Yeah. So the first thing that I'll do is like, okay, I feel like if I get up and start moving around, just anything, even if it's like, like, oh, I don't want to, do this content, or I don't want to like right now I'm putting together a nice white glove, concierge listing program that we're doing. I'm like, oh, I don't want to do the content for it right now. I'll get up, just get some walking around, get some fresh air, and then come back to it. Just give yourself like a little mental break or something like that. Just like get your mind off stuff, go for a little walk. Like you said, you're big in the workouts now too. Get a little workout in and then come back to it. It doesn't have to be done now, but okay, if you do, give yourself some grace and then pick it right back up afterwards. You'll be more refreshed, especially if you get a workout in or a walk in or something like that. Your brain's functioning better. You feel better about yourself. You're probably going to be more creative.
I know for me personally, I've done some things where I've recorded content or done things and I've had it real well thought out, like, like in the right space mentally, and I produced it, and it wasn't necessarily bad, but it was just like I think of a couple YouTube videos I've made where I was like really organized, really ready to rock. I wouldn't say it wasn't bad by any means, but it was. There's times where it just didn't feel as natural and organic when I rewatched it. Where there was times where I just did it anyway, and it even out the quality was actually bad. I'm like, what the hell? Like I thought that sucked, and then I rewatched it, and it was really good. So taken. I mean, I'm not saying that's always the case. I mean, it's good to plan and prep, and if you rehearse stuff, it can you can get better at it and find your subtleties and nuances. I don't want to say it's universal, but I would say what I'm trying to get at is I'm often surprised that even when I don't feel like doing the thing, that the quality is actually still good. Because we don't do it because we think it's gonna suck, right?
My shitty video is gonna outperform your non-existent video all day long, right?
Right.
Sometimes just getting into it, a lot of people are like, oh, well, I want to do this, I want to do that, I want to do YouTube. And it's like, I need this special microphone and I need this special camera set up and I need a whole crew. And it's like, dude,
I'm on my phone
right here,
right now. This is my phone.
I know. We could tell the audio quality is not the greatest, but hey, we're getting shit done.
It'll outperform the non-existent one.
Exactly. We got it in. And like you said, doing things that you don't want to do. Think about it just from like a podcast perspective. Most podcasts don't make it past like 5 episodes. They're usually like only a handful of minutes. We've been pretty consistent, 45 plus episodes at almost 47. Yeah, 45 plus. Yeah, a little wiggle room there. Bear with me. But like I said, for pretty much an hour of content every week or whatever, staying after it.
Yeah.
Remember to put the little ticker down there. I see that.
I just did. You got it. I just did.
20 minutes in.
Well, I mean, it's on there now. And
hey, done is better than perfect, right?
Yes, sir.
Speaking of not being perfect, we for for anybody that follows us and subscribes to the masterminds and stuff, we did have to reschedule that as well for the hurricane, and we'll be setting up another time for that.
Yeah, we'll pick it back up. Yeah, we had to. I don't know if anybody follows me on my stuff, but there's some lovely shutters you gotta that come with. At least they came with our house, and yeah, they take a very very long time to put up and screw each of the individual bolts and lift these aluminum things or whatever they are. They're fun. So yeah, that was Sunday for me, but we'll get back after it for sure. So okay, so 2025. What's the hardest thing in front of you every day that you know you've got to do anyway?
So I'm going to structure my day and stick to that schedule. Right now, I'm kind of wearing multiple hats. So my schedule's not as tight as I would like it to be, which kind of gives me some anxiety, right? Because it's like, okay, this week you're the trainer for 3 hours a day, and then okay, next week, you're the real estate broker and you're out doing house stuff. And then next week you're creating content. And it's like, I'd like to, because I'll have a lot of my systems and processes down and, functional this year. 2025, it's going to crush it, dude. Number one in the state is the goal. And, I am not quitting without that goal.
Yeah, it's funny Yeah, that's really good about the schedule. It's one of the things I actually came up with one of my team members about the schedule. What's that?
It's so hard right now. I'd say, if all I had to do was real estate agent related business, I could probably stick to my schedule a lot better.
Maybe we say that, but I don't know. Like I thought that too. And then, I had a team member bring up their schedule challenges and I'm like, you know what? I don't think I think that's not the case. I think just the schedule is just hard. It's because I think what it is discipline. And it just doesn't mean that you're not disciplined. It just means that it's hard to be disciplined. And it's hard because the word no has to happen to honor a schedule.
I'm too soft with it. It is a discipline thing. I'm just wussing out about actually being firm on it.
Yeah, it is the game changer though. I think when I look at high performers and low performers and in between, and the biggest difference is their standards and their willingness to let shit get in their way or not. Like like right now I am here. I have my family. We're visiting. I had to, say I am getting on a work call. I have to get on a work call, and a lot of people will not do that. It's like, well, and it's not that not family is not important. It's not that at all. 100%. We were just on a hike. What I mean? There's a lot of good stuff to have happen too. But I think there has to be that guard around the times and the commitments that you set. And, and in particular, I think with you and I, that 9 to 12 Monday through Friday is that's the game changer.
Yeah, 9 to 12. That's going to be like on my bulletin board, like all for 2025 in the end here for Q4 of 2024 to kind of be the master of the domain. I'm going to turn the tables on you right now for this, for the end of this podcast. So
bring it.
You posted a great post that got a lot of engagement a couple days ago where you were saying, hey, and talking about your journey for being 1 year sober, right? Getting rid of alcohol, doing the hard stuff with the hard stuff, right? So say somebody's in that situation now where they're like, I'm on the verge of, either giving up alcohol or drugs or whatever it is, what's your message to them to get through the hard things with the hard things? Because that's awesome for you. I cannot, I should say I cannot. I choose not to go all the way down that path, but like I said, I respect it, and I'm working my way towards it as I hang around more and more with the community that we're in.
Yeah, it's tough for me, I think, because a flip definitely switched. So I think that I don't know that I've kind of like learned, I don't like directly telling people what to do or giving advice. I think my best way to share is just what I experience. And for me, I debated over it for a little bit of time, but what I saw was it does not serve the mission in any positive way. The only reason that I enjoyed drinking was the fun nights out with friends and things like that. And I definitely was very, very fearful that if I would drop it, to better serve my clarity in the morning and the well-being, my health, and just focus and all that good stuff, that I would lose the fun that I had. And my biggest thing is that didn't happen at all. So one like word of like optimism is that I mean, I was literally at a bar last night from 6:30 till midnight, and had a blast. Had a really good time connecting with friends.
Penguins perform?
We did watch them. That was rough. But I did not plan to wear the Golden Knights thing. But to give actual advice, this is a me thing. I decided it wasn't for me, and it's in the way of what I want. It does not serve me on my mission to where I want to go. I committed and stand in my principles to not have that, no matter what anybody said, no matter what got in the way. I was committed to that mission, and it's that simple for me. Like when I want to commit to something, like it's just that's it. There's no questions, but it has to be. This is where the important and maybe the advice is. It has to be 100%. It can't be 90, because there were times where I was 90. I would do 75 hard, and because it had like a switch flip, and I'm like, nope, 100%. I'm dropping it. I don't give a shit what happens. I'm dropping it, and we'll figure out life from that, because I don't think it's serving me. There will be a period of change, and then once we get through that change, will be the life that I want, and that's just what happened.
Yeah. I think we were together your last night drinking.
We were. We were. And
no, I totally respect it, man. It's awesome. Like you said, a lot of people are thinking about it or considering it. And then, like you said, you always have those, kind of self thoughts like, oh, I can't go to a bar then, or I can't do this then. It's like, no, that's not the case. Like you could enjoy, you don't have to have a couple beers to have a good time.
Yeah, I've learned that one for sure. And the one other thing I'll say is, you think that, well, I thought that I did stupid things just because I drank, but I learned that I just do stupid things sometimes too. So you learn a lot about yourself. But it's not for everybody. Not everybody has to do it 100%. But for me, where I wanted to go, I just definitely, that's why I dropped the boat club. I was boating a lot, and I dropped the drinking because I needed focus back in my life. And I saw that's we talk about sacrifice and doing the hard things, and those seem like stupid problems. Like, oh, that's drop a boat club, but. Listen, this went back to the early days of real estate, where I sold my favorite. I had an Acura RSX, and I sold it to take the money from that to be able to put into my house and my real estate business at the time. I drove around a beater truck. You know what I mean? So these sacrifices always exist, and nobody talks about those enough. Everybody just sees the shiny, polished end, but the sacrifices for those that are successful are real.
Yeah, like you said, it's good that we're talking about it today. I always, have this conversation with a couple of team members. Like, everybody wants to see my paycheck. They don't want to see what I have to do to get it.
Amen.
Right? There's a lot of sacrifice. There's a lot of sacrifice family time. There's a lot of sacrifice hanging out with friend time or doing video game stuff or whatever, that's social stuff.
Still have to do after you get it. That's the part that I missed on my come up. Is you still have to do the stuff after you get it. So you've got to find a rhythm that doesn't end.
Yeah, no, for sure. Because like you said, the worst thing, and just to take it back to a real estate agent perspective, is when you have that first initial success and you have like 3 or 4 deals pending, and you stop doing the prospecting stuff and all the activities that it took to get you to those 4. And then once those close out, then you're starting back at ground zero. And it's like, you have to find that, that sacrifice to kind of, put all the stuff for managing and maintaining your deals in the afternoon and continue to do your prospecting and all that stuff in the morning. So, no, good stuff.
Well, the last thing I'll leave it on to the end, I know because we're ending here, is, whether it's to the sobriety thing or whether it's to the hard stuff, is one, I don't care who you are, you lead people. People watch your actions, and they believe more what you do rather than what you say. And you cannot imagine, outside of not just team members and people that we work with in real estate. I mean, you cannot imagine the impacts you make by your behaviors and what you're modeling for other people, and not just your kids. I mean, there's so many people you impact with each of your small behaviors, and people see that. So you have an ability to impact others' lives with the choices you make and what you model. So look
Yeah.
at those choices and inspect those choices. And are you lifting people up around you, or are you giving them things that let them let loose a little bit?
Yeah, no, for sure. Like Uncle Ed Milet always says, more is caught than taught, right? So you'll catch more things and teach more things, right? So just having those habits and behaviors that you want to kind of, lead on to others. And it's like, I always get it from like my wife and like the kids, like, oh, you're too positive. I'm like, yeah, man, I want to live that way. I'm like, life's more fun when you're having fun and being positive. Sure, I could be fucking negative about everything and, grumpy old Jay or whatever, but I'm like, dude, I choose to, go all out. I choose to, have fun and be positive with it.
That's why I keep you around, man. I'm too grumpy and negative.
I'm like, turn this shit on. Let's go.
All right, man. Well, we will see you back here. We'll resume back on Monday. No damn thing called Milton will get in our way anymore. What the kind of name is that anyway?
We got yeah, Milton. Isn't that like Bart Simpson's like dorky buddy or something? Or no?
If your name is Milton, I'm sorry for you.
Yeah,
No, I'm just kidding.
Yeah. All the Miltons have dropped our following. But we got our 1-year anniversary coming up soon. Let's have a big guest on for it. We have a couple people that have been reaching out about coming to join us as a tripod for the show. So we'll have some special guests coming up in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get after it.
Looking forward to it. Big things in the making, and we'll end our 1-year anniversary and come to 2025 hot. We got some big things brewing up. So
2025 is going to be fire, but we're still finishing strong with 2024. No days off.
That's it, my man. Well, we'll see you next week. Thanks everybody for tuning in. Go to SharkNation Live, like, subscribe, do it all, and see you on the next one.